Hey guys, welcome to another KJ's tutorial. Today I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to make different kinds of signs and stands with the dollar store pizza pans. So you can find these at just about any dollar store. They are pretty hard to find in certain areas, so you might have to order them online, but this is what they look like. I also have contact paper. I cut out an 11.5-inch circle, and this is also from the dollar store. I also have decorative rope. This was also from the dollar store. It's a 13-foot roll. I cut out welcome on the Cricut machine, and I used black 651, but you can also use 631 if you'd like. Then I didn't check the dollar store, even though I know that they have things at the dollar store flower-wise and like the greeneries. I went to Hobby Lobby and picked this up, as well as the bow, because it was more of what I was looking for. The green is $7.99, and I want to say it was 40% off, and the bow here was $2.99, and that was also, I believe, 40% off. So if you have a Hobby Lobby near you, you can definitely get things for a very reasonable price. I know there was a lot of greens that were cheaper than this. This was just something I really liked. So also you're going to need some type of squeegee. You're going to need a pair of scissors just in case you need to trim something. You will need a pair you'll need a glue gun, and you'll also need clear contact paper or transfer tape to put over top of this to transfer it over. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and move everything out of the way, and I'll be right back. So when you take this off, there's just a little teeny tiny piece of glue back here, so it comes off very easily. And it doesn't usually leave a spot on here, but you're going to be covering it anyways if it does. So you can just take that and kind of crinkle it up and throw it away. Now you're going to take your contact paper. Now you don't have to do this. You can leave this plain. You can spray paint it. You can use acrylic paints and hand paint it. There's so many different possibilities that you can do. I am going to come back and show you guys how to make a pumpkin out of this, as well as a snowman, and possibly a couple other things, because you can really use this for so many projects. So what you want to do is you want to take your contact paper here and you want to start to pull it, and then you're going to fold this over here. So lay it down and fold that just to get you started, and then you're going to line it up with the ends. And you want to get it as best as possible, and you'll start to push it on. And this is where the squeegee is going to come in at. So you want to make sure that you run this over for each of them. Then you're going to actually flip this back over, and you'll start to pull this in a motion like so. So you'll pull this back, so you'll flip this over, so your hand's still on this, and you'll keep pulling this, and you'll keep going, and you just want to have the squeegee here go straight like this. So you'll just go back and forth and keep hitting it. So you're just going to keep moving and keep squeegeeing, so it'll come out like this. Alright, so I'm going to hop off to finish this, and then we'll be right back as soon as I'm done. Alright guys, so now we're back, and as you can see, the brown is completely laid onto the pan. You will get a few air bubbles in it, and they are kind of like a pain to get out. After it sits for a few days, they usually come out on their own, especially if you're leaving it outside. The heat will end up taking them out as well. So don't fret too much over them, and you really can't see them unless you're truly standing up and touching it, which most people aren't going to do. So now with the twine, I haven't made up my mind if I'm going to use this or not yet, but what you do is you're going to end up putting it on the edges like so, if you do, or you can make a bow out of it. You can really do what you want. Now if I do decide to use this, I'm going to place it around like so. So it will go around, and I'm just going to use my glue gun to go ahead and glue it down. I'm going to make sure, so the green's going to go down first before the bow, so I am going to have to trim this. But I want the bow somewhere on the ends. I'm going to have to fluff it up. I don't want the rope to go all the way around, because I don't know if it'll be too bulky. So I'm going to probably end up stopping it around here, because then you won't be able to see it with the bow and the green. I think it'll make it a little bit too bulky with the green and the bow and this under it. So I'm going to go ahead and hop off to put this on to make sure I like it first. And then once I add this, I will be back to show you guys how to cut this and add both of these to here as well as the decal. Okay guys, so I'm just going to hop on real quick just to show you. I just started this here. So I just wanted to show you how I glue it on. So I'm just going to put little bits of glue at a time and then push this against it. So I kind of just line it up with the little round here. And again, I do very little at a time because since this is like a, what would you consider this? Yeah, it's kind of like thin and it's cold. My fiance's here, so if you hear I'm talking in the background, but it's very thin, so it's gonna dry quicker against this because of it being cold. Kind of think like an alligator clip when you're making hair bows, if you make them. So then you just pull them and that's stuck. You can also use super glue if you want. So I just wanted to hop on real quick, so you're gonna go ahead and do that all the way around until you get it to where you want it to be. So here's what it looks like with the rope. It was about 33 inches for mine with a 3.5 gap here, 3.5 inch gap here. So yours might be different though. It depends on how much you want or how little. So again, mine was around 33 inches. So give or take, that's how much you will need. Plus an extra 3.5 inches if you want to cover the entire plate. So now I'm gonna go ahead and trim these so we can go ahead and lay them out. If you guys are interested in buying these exact ones, the number from Hobby Lobby is 1220177. I don't know if you guys can see that. So I will try and link it in the description, guys, for you guys to see if I can find it. But I'm going to go ahead and cut these, and then I will be right back. Okay guys, so I'm down to my last one, and I just wanted to show you guys how I take this off. So you are going to need wire cutters or something of the sort, because scissors, they'll do it, but it's not going to be the best, and you're going to be sitting there fighting for a while. So there's little notches on the bottoms of these. As you can see, they're kind of a little bit sticking out from the stem. So you're just going to take them and clamp around that notch, and then you can kind of just spin it, and it comes right off. So that's what it looks like when it's done. Alright, so now that that is off, I kind of already had them separated to how I liked it. I wanted a little bit uneven, so I'm thinking of having these four kind of play a part over here somewhere and these two over here. I might take one and move it over, but we'll see. You definitely want to play around with it a little before you just start gluing things. The bow just needs to be fixed a little bit. But you can always fix that once it's glued on too. So you kind of just want to push it down and see how it looks. Can you give me the welcome, please? Thank you. Oh. So you kind of want to lay this on and see where you want to place this as well. So the bow is going to kind of be scrunched up a little bit, but it's okay to hang off. At least that's where I like it. So I want the welcome somewhere on here. The decal is definitely going to be the last thing that you put on, only because you don't want to put it on and then put all your accessories on and then come to find that it will be covered or it won't look right or anything of the sort. Also, another thing that my fiance actually pointed out, you want to pay attention to the way that if you're doing like a wood grain or a print, which way it's going, because if I was to do it this way, I'd be going against the grain, and I really like it going in the same direction. So I'm kind of liking something like this. Obviously I got to put it together a little bit better, but I'm kind of liking the not so even. So pretty much what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to either tape them or glue them together. I'm thinking that tape is going to be easier, and then I can go ahead and glue the tape. So obviously you want to use some type of tape that's okay with hot glue. So something like electrical tape or something will be best, especially because it will be covered by the bow, so you won't even see it. But you're going to go ahead and glue them, tape them, both, whichever you prefer. And then our last thing before we do the decal will be put the bow on. So I'm going to hop on off and I will hop back on right before I'm about to put the bow on just to show you guys how I decide to attach these. Okay guys, so this is what it looks like with the green put down. So the bow isn't actually attached yet. So I'm going to go ahead and move that. I just want to show you guys what it would look like. So I did go ahead and use electrical tape. It worked out so much easier. So I'll kind of lift that up here for you guys to see. So we put electrical tape on it, and then we glued the greens here. So right before the electrical tape on the bottom, and then we went all the way down. So it's glued from the end of the rope all the way until the end of the electrical tape. So this way the greens are kind of glued together here. I don't know if you guys can really see that, but so again, I glued from about here, I would say about like a 1/4 inch of the green, and then all of the black electrical tape. So that is placed like this. So you can always move these to the way that you want. So I kind of like the offset, but my fiance liked it more even. So we went ahead and made it even. So it does kind of sit like this. And then all you have to do last, so this bow does have a little bit of a wire tie, so you're just gonna kind of pinch it there. You definitely don't want to take it together, as that's what's holding the bow together. So now you just want to make sure that you fix it up to the way you want, and you can fix the bottom tails here once it's on. And you're gonna go ahead and glue it right in the center. So you're gonna put a lot of glue here, over here, over here. Now you can either glue the bow directly, or you can glue the plate itself. And then you're gonna go ahead and stick it on. Now, by sticking it on, you are gonna have to press down, so you are gonna smush the bow. So if you're gonna fix anything beforehand, you're gonna wanna fix the tails, that's about it. Because you are gonna have to press it and make sure it's pressed on good. Now this is the point where you wanna see if you want it to go crooked, if you want it to go straight with the green, if you wanna kinda have it a little offset. That's when you have to decide. I do recommend taking your decal here and putting that off to the side. I understand this is going to end up getting moved over quite a bit, so you can go ahead, and what we can do is we can just trim it. So you can take your scissors, right, you can get as close to the E as possible. So this way when it's here, it's a little bit more realistic. Now again, these are going to be poofed up a little bit and pushed to the side. So I'm kind of liking where the bow is. It's a little bit crooked for me, so I am going to flip it on you guys, sorry. But so I'm kind of liking where the bow is. Now again, it is going to be pushed in some, it's not going to be as full. Now once you poof these back out, it will look a little bit more. It's just because when you glue them, they will be down, but if you can see here, you can't see the black from anywhere. So you can't see that electrical tape at all. Alright guys, so I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. So one thing I want to show you guys while I'm holding this down is you need to press down on here initially, but to make sure it actually sticks, you want to lift up every layer but the bottom and give it a real firm push for at least 60 seconds. By doing this, you'll help the glue adhere more to the back of the bow, which is what you really want and need. And then you can also see, I don't know if you guys can see that from this angle or not, probably not, but there's a little bit of glue back here. You can leave it if you want to, or this is a time where you would take either scissors or your X-Acto knife and you can go ahead and clean it up. So it's totally up to you. I think I'm just going to leave mine just because you're not going to be able to see it, because once you move this over some and you poof that out, you're not going to see the glue at all where it's dry. So you can't see anything back there. So I don't know if you guys can see that at all. Sorry guys, I'm sitting behind the camera, so I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's glue underneath here. You guys still probably can't even really see it, but once you fluff it out, you're not going to be able to see it at all. So you're just going to fluff it to the way that you want, and you want to fluff your bow before you put the decal on, only so you can see exactly where you want it. And this is where you can make your final decision of if the color is correct for you. You might want a different color. Really anything at this point, you can make sure that it's what you want. And you can always go back in and refluff the bow later. So it doesn't have to be 100% perfect, but make it look somewhat like your final product. Then I kind of look the rippled look and effect. So I just make those little ripples. Kind of something along the lines of that. Something in there. So it's going to look something like this. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take the decal and we're going to go ahead and we're going to add that on. And it's okay to have this hang off a little bit over here. But what we are going to do is we're actually going to lightly put one of them up for now, just one, which we might have to lay it back down. So you definitely don't want to mess with how you want it to look. So that's why I went back to the very last ripple to kind of push it up a little, and it will stay. So now we're going to go ahead and get clear contact paper, which this piece is going to be a little big, so we're going to cut it down to the size that we need. So around here. This is also contact paper, transparent paper from the dollar store. You get a whole roll of it for $1. It's one of my favorites to work with. I might have actually cut this a little too small, but that's okay. Then you can take your squeegee, just push it off on the back. And then your vinyl should come right off if it wants to cooperate. Sometimes it doesn't, especially in this crazy heat. Whoop. Or my fingers just like to hold it down. That goes like this. Now I'm going to pass this off to my fiance because he usually has better placement and his OCD is a little bit more than mine when it comes to decal placements. So now we're just going to reline it up over top of here so it's not going to stick. So it's going to be over top. And then once we see kind of where we want it, we're just going to go ahead and lift these up. Do you like the white or you want me to change it to, do you like the red or do you want me to change it? Oh my goodness, do you like the black or do you want me to change it to white?
I like the black one there.
Okay. Alright, so we're just going to go ahead and lay that down. And then what I do is I just take my squeegee. And you just lightly push it. You don't want to push too hard because then you will create more bubbles. But you just want to make sure that your decal is adhered. I am using 651, which is permanent. You can easily use 631 with this. The only thing is if you do have it out in the heat though, I definitely recommend using the 651 just so the heat doesn't tamper with it. I know 631 usually does fine, but I'm a fan of 651, I guess. And for those of you that don't know, 651 is permanent, whereas 631 is temporary. So here we go. We can refluff them. Kind of like this one, kind of like doing its own thing, sticking out. And there you guys go. So now you can add anything that you want. We're not really sure what else we wanted to add. We were going to put Matt and Jay on it, or like an EST date, but again, we haven't really fully decided, so we just went with the welcome for now. You can always add more to the bottom or even to the upper right hand side. And again, it's super easy, guys. This is super simple. It's an easy craft to make for yourself or even to make it as a gift for somebody. And then when you flip it to the back, this is what it will look like at the back. And we're just going to hang twine, so you can glue it in here, so this way it doesn't make a bulge here. So you can just glue it right in here somewhere. And that's when you want to figure out where to hang it. So that'll be a very last minute thing. I'm not going to put twine on it right now just because I'm not sure if I'm going to prop it against something yet or if I'm going to put it on a door. So you can also get one of the stands from the dollar store, like the picture stands, or you could even just prop it up against something like against your wall. Alright guys, I will add all of the information into the description box below. Please make sure that you follow and subscribe, like, comment. If you have any questions or concerns, you can comment below or email me at kjays25@yahoo.com. I hope you guys have a great night.